Let's talk about the silence, the one you know all too well. You speak up, you offer a new idea, and suddenly the room goes silent. Not an angry silence, not a frustrated one, just quiet. And when the silence is louder than any conversation, you start to realize it's not your idea that's the problem. It's your very existence in this system. You know the one. You file a report with a typo, you get an email in 10 minutes. You send a memo questioning the entire point of the project you're on. Crickets, not angry crickets. Polite, professional, vacuum-sealed crickets. Your boss doesn't yell, HR doesn't call. Your idea isn't rejected. It's just orphaned. It gets a thanks for the deep thinking, and then it's moved to a folder called Strategic Input Future Review, which is the corporate equivalent of sending it to a nice farm upstate. Now watch someone else. Watch the person who blows past a budget deadline or who fudges a compliance step. What happens? They get a meeting, they get a corrective action plan, there's noise, there's a process. So here's the unspoken rule. The real protocol running underneath the floorboards of every large organization. Systems are built to fix violators, but they are wired to scan heretics. This isn't about you being wrong. This is about you activating a different piece of software entirely. The oops, you broke a rule software is loud, familiar, and has a big resolve button. The you're questioning the rules themselves software is silent, watchful, and has one blinking light that says, assess threat level. Let's calibrate. Where are you right now? You're probably in one of three places. First, the innovation cell. You've been given a fancy new title, Future Vision Lead, Special Projects. Sounds great, but have you noticed you're suddenly not on the email chain for the actual quarterly planning? You've been given a playground and quietly locked out of the war room. Second, the feedback loop of death. Every time you raise a big question, the response is the same. We need more data. Let's involve more stakeholders. Your radical idea? It's being buried by its own weight. It's being suffocated by due process. Third, the language shift. People stop talking about your results. They start talking about your method. Great work, but your approach was very independent. We need to make sure your process is more aligned. They're not judging your output anymore. They're auditing your wiring for compatibility. If this is you, you haven't failed. You've been recategorized. In the systems ledger, you've been moved from asset to question mark. Now, what is the system doing during this quiet period? It's not mad. It's doing math. Cold, hard risk calculus. It's weighing three costs. Cost one, the cleanup versus the cascade. Fixing a rule breaker has a price tag, a training course, a severance package, a lawsuit. It's a line item. In a London bank, a trader who hides a loss is a cost. You can calculate it. A heretic, someone who says our entire trading model is ethically bankrupt, isn't a cost. They're a potential black hole. Addressing them might mean dismantling the brand, retracting years of marketing, a front page scandal. You can't put that in a budget spreadsheet. The system would rather budget for 100 petty thieves than one prophet. Cost two, the show of force versus the show of weakness. Punishing a violator is a ceremony. It makes the rules seem strong. Fire someone for stealing, and you've reinforced thou shalt not steal. But debate a heretic publicly? That's a danger. Let's say you work for a social media company, and you argue, our algorithm isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, make people angry and addicted. If the CEO debates you, they've just made your insane idea a legitimate topic of conversation for every employee and journalist. Suddenly, the heresy is on the agenda. So silence isn't weakness, it's a tactical retreat. It's refusing to give the enemy's idea a stage. Cost 3. The bad apple versus the bad idea. A violator is usually alone, a corrupt manager, a lazy engineer. You cut them out, the problem is gone. A heretic deals in ideas, and ideas are viruses. In a Silicon Valley tech giant, an engineer who leaks data is a security issue. An engineer who writes a brilliant, airtight memo proving the company's AI is racist, that's patient zero. They offer a coherent story that can spread to other smart, disillusioned people. The system isn't afraid of losing them. It's afraid of them infecting the high performers with doubt. So your silent treatment, that's the sound of the system running a full diagnostic scan on your brain, looking for a harmless bug or a world-altering virus. And during this scan, your good intentions backfire spectacularly. You try to clarify your position, writing long emails to explain. The system reads, high maintenance, unstable logic, requires excessive calibration. You try to ally with other concerned colleagues, having quiet coffees. The system's social graph analysis detects forming a nascent clique, potential faction. You double down on your professionalism, building a prototype to prove your point. The system sees the ultimate threat, not just criticizing, is now building a competing operation inside our walls. Your virtues are now your risk factors. Given all this math, the system's playbook has a few standard outcomes. Don't think of these as your choices. Think of them as the system's preloaded immune responses. Option A, saint and symbol. They'll make you the chief thought leader, give you a podcast, a blog, a keynote slot. Your dangerous ideas turn into a cute mascot for innovation. You're paraded around, then gently escorted away from any room where real money or power is discussed. You're in the petting zoo. Option B, the process labyrinth. Your idea is granted serious consideration. A cross-functional committee is formed. You need sign-offs from legal, finance, compliance in 5 regions. You will drown in a sea of blue slides and stakeholder matrices. Your idea won't be killed, it will die of old age and exhaustion. Option C, the glorious exile. You'll be encouraged to take this big thinking to the wider world. Your departure is framed as a loss, but a noble one. She was just ahead of her time. You might even get a book deal. Internally, you become a legend, a cautionary tale dressed up as a compliment, a monument to what happens to people who think too hard. This isn't modern management. This is ancient politics. A Chinese strategist, Han Feizi, spelled it out 2,300 years ago. A ruler can handle a minister who steals. That's a crime. He must eliminate a minister who builds his own philosophy, his own loyal following. That's a rival source of power. Translated, your company can handle you stealing a laptop. It cannot handle you stealing the narrative. So, while you're in the scanner, a little advice on signal management. Stop talking about morality. Talk about risk and efficiency. The second you say this is wrong, you're a preacher, not an employee. Avoid the inner circle. Spread your conversations wide. The moment 3 of you are regularly meeting, you're a cabal. And understand the silence. It's not them being stumped, it's them reloading. Mistake their quiet for weakness and charge in. That's when the real response hits. So here's where you are. You're not in trouble. You're in diagnostics. The value of this moment isn't in winning. It's in finally seeing the interface. You're no longer just a user of the system. You're a process being observed in its task manager. The loud punishment of rule breakers is the system showing its muscles. This quiet, protracted, complicated reaction to you, that's the system showing you its deepest insecurities. You've poked a nerve no rule breaker ever could. And you probably got here the same way most do. Not by one big speech, but by 1,000 small, honest moments. A question you asked that was a little too sharp, a yes, but you offered one too many times. The system has been keeping score, adding points to your conceptual risk profile until one day you tipped over into a new category. To understand what to do next, you need to see that scorecard. You need to reverse engineer how you were labeled. And next time, we'll dive into a deeper layer, how you're systematically pushed into the anomaly zone. But for now, just know this. The scan is still running, and the results, they might surprise you. Until then, just know this. The scan is still running. This isn't the end of your career. It's the end of your innocence about how careers are actually managed.